It's time to take a look inside ECSU Mighty Vikings football. Welcome to Viking Coaches Show with Marcus Hilliard on WRVS 89.9.
One of my favorite times of the week to talk ECSU Mighty Vikings football, and we welcome you to Viking Coaches Show here on WRVS 89.9. Yours truly, Clay Mercer here, and as always, I have the pleasure to talk with ECSU football head coach Marcus Hilliard. Coach Hilliard took that trip down to South Carolina, and it's been a while since I've been to South Carolina. Actually, I think your location was probably a little more west than where I usually go, but tell me a little bit about the trip down there.
You know, it was a pretty long trip for us, about 7 hours to get down there, man, but I thought it went well. The guys adjusted. I said a couple weeks back, these next couple weeks are going to test us. We're on the road for 4 straight weeks, and, you know, this was the first one out of 4, and it went well, man. It was good for some of our guys that are from, you know, not South Carolina, but Florida, and their parents were able to come see them play, and so we still had support all the way 7 hours away, man. So that was good as well. So enjoy the trip, and it's definitely better once you're able to get a win.
Yeah. I heard you went to a special place that the guys was telling you about. I've never heard of this place. So listeners, check this story out. Coach, tell them a little bit.
Yeah, man. The guys were telling me about this super store, this super gas station called Buc-ee's.
Okay.
And you know, I'd never been before, and you know, they said, Coach, when we win, man, let's stop to Buc-ee's. And I was like, I guess, you know, because, of course, you're going to stop anyway. So I said, you know, I didn't think anything of it. And I was like, all right, cool. So we get the win, and, you know, that's all. Even when I'm talking to them post-game, they're like, yeah, we're going to Buc-ee's. Yeah, we're going to Buc-ee's. I'm like, what? Is this store really like that?
Yeah.
And so we do go to the store, and I pull up, and I'm like, it's like Walmart. Like, Buc-ee's is like a Walmart, man. They sell their own beef jerky. They're known for their brisket. They have signature items. They sell pecans and cashews. It's just like a superstore, man. And they, you know, it's they told me about it's a thing on Twitter that people go. You know, it's like a pilgrimage. You take a trip to go to. I'm just telling you. So Buc-ee's, y'all owe me something, man. When y'all hear this, you know, we win. Elizabeth City State University Viking football team was at Buc-ee's. So it was a pretty good experience for us.
Yeah, man. Seems like an overall good experience for the Vikings, picking up that win on the road 20-0 over Erskine College. Back-to-back victories, first time since the 2021 season. Just a prime example of this program really moving in the right direction.
Yeah. You know, I've been saying it, man. We've been trying to improve every week, you know, and you can kind of see our progress. I know I come here on the time, said we're almost there, man. And finally, you know, we're able to get some momentum and kind of string along some wins, man. Still got a long ways to go, but just proud of how the guys are. They don't have egos, you know. Everybody's just on same page, one goal, one ship, man. That's what we've been talking about, and those guys came out and, you know, just proud of how we've played, and, you know, now it's about not being complacent, you know, and that's the message for this week. Can't be complacent with just where we are now, and you know, of course, this week will be a great big test for us.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about the preparation for this week's big game on Saturday, but ECSU had to travel to South Carolina for their first of 4 straight games away from Roebuck Stadium. This was the first game between these two teams, and probably your first time stepping into J.W. Babb Stadium. I had never heard of the stadium before, but I looked at it. It looked very good. Just talk about the overall experience on the road over there at Erskine College.
Yeah, some great people over there. The associate AD was in contact with us the whole time from early on in the week, man. They just do things the right way, man. And the stadium, oh, man, for a high school stadium, man, it's bar none.
It's a high school stadium.
High school stadium, 3-level press box, turf. They're building a multi-million-dollar field house. It was nice. Hey, we really enjoyed those confines going down there to South Carolina.
Football in different parts of the country. I tell you, they really love their football, and I guess they do down there in South Carolina too. And both of these teams just going into the game, flow in the first half, had a hard time moving the ball effectively throughout the first half. In fact, ECSU used an 11-play, 60-yard drive to get into the red zone late in the second quarter. Unfortunately, we came up a little empty with that missed field goal attempt, but 0-0 will be the halftime score for both of these teams. And, you know, what would you think was hindering the offense a little bit in that first half?
Maybe some nerves. We're able, and we showed that even in the Chowan game. You know, I said it last week. We went down and had a 13 or 18 play drive, and then had to settle for 3.
Yes,
you know, and it's more the same this week. So for us offensively, it's just trying to find a way to get in the box is what they call it, man. And we're able to move the ball, but we get right there to the red zone, and it's like, you know, we're not able to punch it in, man. And so I think that was the biggest thing from the takeaway from the first half, being able to move the ball, but now we got to be able to finish. And I know offensively we preach that every day. And that's something that we have to work on this week. Got to be able to finish, and we put some things and some wrinkles in practice, so we'll be able to do so.
We would stay scoreless on both sides heading into the fourth quarter, but the ECSU would use a 6-play, 50-yard drive to get the first score of the day, capped off by a 25-yard touchdown pass from quarterback DeMarcus Creasy to Cash Foley. After the PAT, the score was 7-0. Had about 14 minutes left to play, and in a game like this, that had to feel like a huge score, just the way that the game was going.
Yeah, we felt great about it, man. Finally able to get on the board with that one, and you know, and that was big because at that point, you know, it was scoreless. And like you said, went into the fourth quarter, and, you know, defensively, you know, we had been holding, and we just needed that score. I felt great defensively. Like, you know what? You know, being a coordinator, you feel like, hey, this could be the one. We were able to get a shutout, and, you know, we just felt good about it at that point.
Yeah. Speaking of Code Blue, they held strong against the Erskine offense, forcing them to punt on their very next set of downs, and ECSU would make them pay in quick fashion. Less than 2 minutes later, Creasy would throw a 49-yard pass to Wesley Calloway for a second touchdown of the day. After the PAT made the score 14-0, just talk a little bit about how that play specifically came together.
Yeah, man. You see, it was a great play call, and Creasy executed, man, and gave it to Wes. And if you know you were watching the game, we were on the sideline. We're like, please, Wes, don't get hawked down by the guy, and he was able to get to be fast enough to get into the end zone. And you know, at 14-0, we really felt good about it. We like, you know what, put a lot of emphasis. I went over to the defensive bench and said, hey, now it's time to show what you guys are really made of. You know, put the hammer down.
You talked about this earlier. You talked about nerves in that first half. Is it just more of just being on the road, a true road game in a different environment first time? Is that kind of where the nerves kind of come into play?
Yeah, because you don't know what you don't know, and it was a new environment for us. I mean, you know, it was a 7-hour trip, so you got to get it readjusted, man. And you know, sometimes that plays a part. A lot of it is having to do in practice. We got to practice faster. You know what I mean? I felt like we had a great week of practice, but, you know, on Thursday it was kind of a little sluggish. I don't know if the guys were like ready to go on the trip or whatever, but I mean, it has a lot to do with it. So we just got to be able to start faster and to get some offensive production earlier.
Yeah, sometimes we've had slow starts that have got us a lot into trouble, but this time both teams had a slow start. So it was 0-0 for a period of time, 14-0 up to this point. And by now the Vikings had to feel pretty good about their chances of walking away with a W. ECSU would add on a 4-yard touchdown run by preseason All-CIAA running back Zechariah Adams-Duxon to make the final score 20-0. You love to see the Vikings with more points on the board than the other team. And it was Duxon's first touchdown of the season, and a good day really overall for him. He averaged about 6 yards per rush in the game. I get the sense that this is really just the beginning for him in reference to this season.
Yeah, I know people have been asking about him. He's here, and just trying to get him back into game shape. And, you know, this was kind of almost like a breakout game for him, where he was able to you start to see that old Zeke coming back, man. So just glad for the way how he played, and you know, he was able to get in the box because, you know, last year he didn't score a touchdown. He made all preseason. He made all CIAA without scoring a rushing touchdown.
All-purpose yards were great.
Right. So that was just good for him to be able to get in the box on Saturday.
Talk a little bit about Creasy. He finished the game 13 of 22, 186 total passing yards, 0 interceptions. Speak on the skill and the growth of your young quarterback.
Yeah, true freshman. Just found out before we came on, he got Player of the Week, CIAA Rookie of the Week, man. Yes. And you know, he is like we say, we take the great and the bad, you know. And he's still developing, he's learning, and he always gives us the opportunity to win the game.
When you look at this football team through the first 3 games, Vikings are averaging about 15 points per game total through the first 3 games. Very similar to last season's start, but you talk about the growth and the skill of Creasy, and now you have Duxon back, and of course Biggs, and you have your running backs, and everybody just seems to be coming together now. It seems like you're getting the full team kind of in place. I expect to see that number grow, but as you've seen this team through the first 3 games, are you pleased, and let's just talk about the offensive side, are you pleased with where they are and where you think they will be as the season continues?
Yeah, you got to look at it, man. We have a new offensive coordinator that just came here in March. We have one starter that was here. Everybody else is new. So you got a new offense pretty much. And it takes time. Offense is about timing, and it takes time for those guys to gel. Of course, we know the numbers. 15 points. Not good enough right now for us to be winning at a consistent level, but it's gelling, and you can start to see we're kind of picking it up. Right. Even game 1 right now, we didn't know where we were with quarterback. We talked about it on the show, and we feel good in Creasy, so he's got a grasp on our offense, and Zeke is coming to his own, and the offensive line is gelling. So I'm happy to see that we're trending up. Yeah. And it's going to be a learning process, even for our coordinators. First time he called plays as a coordinator. So I mean, it's all new, but it's new, and we're able to see some success with it. Yeah. So I'm happy for how it's going, and look out, man. They're on the way, definitely.
We talk about 15 points per game. We could talk about the numbers all day, but it does help when you have Code Blue playing the way that they're playing. And on the defensive side, you had several Vikings leading the way in tackles, including senior linebacker DeMaurian Smith. Code Blue just continues to bring that energy, and it's turning into wins for ECSU. Again, defensively, if you continue to put donuts on teams, that 15 looks outstanding. So just talk about the defense and the energy that they're bringing to every game that I've seen so far.
Yeah, we're leaning on them. You don't score, you don't win. And, I mean, it don't matter how many points that we have. If the other team can't score, they can't win. But those guys are doing a great job, man. And, like I said, they take it personal. You talked about the DeMaurian Smith. Also had another all-CIAA player this week, and DeAndre Tolson. I think he leads the nation in pass breakups. And so you got guys like that they have a will to win, and they have a will to be great. And you can see it in the game on Saturday. Those guys did not want to surrender, and when we had those guys, they scored. They was like, you know what? They're not scoring. And so it's great to lean on the defense. I know our coordinator, it's good to have a good defense while the offense has to develop and get better. Our defense can carry us through, and that's defense wins championships. And that cliche is what it is, and just so proud of how those guys have been able to carry the team.
You talk about being on the road, the next 3 games away from Roebuck Stadium. You're just on the road. You just won't be home anytime soon. That includes the Down East Viking Football Classic also. The growth of this team, it really helps when you have away games. It just seems like it's you against everybody. And we spoke on this previously, but I wanted you to talk more about really just essentially this last game here, even in South Carolina. You take the travel, the team goes on the road, you don't have your home fans heavily behind you. What does that do? How does that benefit the football team when you have road games like this?
Yeah, it just builds character, man. You face a lot of adversity. A lot of those times you're on the road, nobody's pretty much there in a game. And I want to just shout out to the parents of our players. We still had representation down there. A lot of our players are from Florida, and their parents and grandparents came to the game. Yeah. We even had some people from North Carolina to come to the game. So our Viking fans were there. But for us, it just builds character. You understand some of the nuances that each stadium presents, and fans are different, and it's just different. It's not home, and you got to be able to deal with it, man. Yeah. So I think it builds character for us, and just proud of how our guys responded to it.
Quick injury report, Coach. Anything coming out of Saturday's game that we need to know about?
Not much, man. We did. I know some people saw, I think, right there in the second quarter where our offensive guard, he sustained a minor injury to his knee, but he'll be fine. He'll be back and ready to go this week. But overall, we're pretty much healthy, other than the nicks and bruises. You know, that's how it goes. It's football. It's going to be a long season, but overall, we're healthy for this week's game.
The overall team's endurance. We talked about that after the first game. It was 150 degrees out. It was blazing hot. Now it's changed. But do you you see that getting better and better as the games go along? Yeah,
that's not a problem. We find ourselves in the game shape, and having it 77 degrees, 75 degrees where you go helps as well. So we're not worried about that conditioning piece as like we worried about in Shaw. So we're good to go with that.
Yeah, I don't think we'll have to worry about the weather this Saturday in Rocky Mount as the Mighty Vikings head there for the Down East Viking Football Classic. We'll give you a preview of that game and get you ready for that. It's all coming up here on Viking Coaches Show on WRVS.
Get your tickets for ECSU football games online at ECSUVikings.com.
You must have thrown 1,000 pitches teaching him to hit a home run. Spent countless Saturdays running routes so he could learn to hit an open receiver. Endless afternoons teaching him how to hit the three-pointer. But how much time have you spent teaching him what not to hit? Teaching boys that all violence against women is wrong is one of the most important things a man can do. Learn how to start the conversation at teachearly.org. Brought to you by Futures Without Violence and the Ad Council.
From the football field to the radio, this is Viking Coaches Show on WRVS 89.9.
All roads lead to Rocky Mount, North Carolina for this Saturday's matchup. The Down East Viking Football Classic. ECSU will match up against Fayetteville State. And, of course, FSU, no stranger to the Down East Viking Football Classic. They participated in the inaugural event. 10 of the 27 classics have been against the Broncos. I didn't even know that. FSU selected number 3 in the preseason CIAA polls with about 60 of their players returning. That's a lot of experience on their side. And, Coach, we talked about it earlier. It's a big test for the Mighty Vikings.
Yeah, Coach Hayes does a great job on his team, man. It's going to be a monumental task for us, and I told the guys this week in our meetings yesterday, this week is going to separate the contenders from the pretenders, man. And, what a way to get our year started in conference with Fayetteville State, one of the teams that's been perennial in our league. If you look, I think, don't know the stats, but I know they've been to the championship game numerous times in this decade. So you're talking about a great team and a great program that Coach Hayes has down there, man. So it's going to be a mighty tall task for us, but we're up for it. We're definitely up for that challenge.
Yeah, the Broncos will enter the game off a 34-0 loss of Valdosta State, and we were just talking about how good that team is, so there's not really nothing to be ashamed about when you're playing against a top 5 nationally ranked team, but they'll be desperate for a W. And I look at the what you do in practice. I've been to a practice here, and I've seen what you do as you all prepare over the next few days. What will it take as far as for the coaching staff to make sure that this team over the next few days keeps the energy high and doesn't get complacent like you talked about heading into Rocky Mount for Saturday?
Yeah, I think our team, man, loves challenges. It's no secret. People expect Fayetteville to win the game. So our team just loves to prove people wrong. Yeah. And so they will practice hard. We're going to prepare as we do. I tell the guys every week, man, when you're prepared, you don't worry. We watched the film. We saw, like you said, the film against Valdosta, who was also a great team. They're ranked in top 5, like you said, in the nation. But Fayetteville, they have some great athletes, man. They got some dudes up front that can get it done. That they send guys to the league. You go to Fayetteville, you can go to the league. So our guys will be up for that, knowing that scouts will be out there and knowing that the odds are not with them. Our guys will be up for that challenge, man. And our job is just to prepare them, and it's going to take us just execute and win in 2 of the 3 phases of the football game, with special teams being one of them. So we're ready. We'll be ready, and we'll go about it and not look at it as like they can't be beat, but just us playing a near perfect game.
Yeah, it's time to prove some people wrong, and Saturday is a great chance for the Vikings to do that. ECSU has actually won the last 4 of 6 against Fayetteville State, and they'll be looking to add on to their current win streak on Saturday. The 27th Down East Viking Football Classic will kick off at 2 p.m. over at Rocky Mount Athletic Complex. Grab your tickets now if you don't have them yet, online at ECSUVikings.com. All the information is there. And, of course, radio coverage of the game will begin right around 2 right here on your community voice. Coach, thank you so much for making this show happen. I want to give the microphone to you. Get the Vikings excited if they're not already for what's to come this Saturday.
Yeah, just appreciate the Viking fans, man, for supporting us, man, and come out again and support us at the Down East. We have our Fan Fest on Friday, too. They can come meet the players and meet the coaches and get ready to have a great experience. It's an experience at the Down East Viking Classic, tailgating and vendors, and then you have the football game, then the band, man. Sound of Class, shout out to Sound of Class. They'll be there. They're out there practicing now. So come out and support us, and hopefully we can continue this win streak that we got going on.
I think we can. I'll be at the Fan Fest, too, so make sure y'all come out and say hello to me. I'll be behind the table playing the music for Coach and the team as they come in and have a little bit of fun with us at that Rocky Mount that Rocky Mount conference. It's a conference center, so that should be a lot of fun. It's going to be a great time in Rocky Mount. It always is. Coach, again, thank you so much for making this show happen. We'll catch up with you next week. Hopefully we got a three-game win streak rolling into the show on Monday.
Man, that's the plan. I appreciate it, brother.
I love it. I love it. If you missed out on any parts of today's show, or you want to catch up on past shows, always go to the WRVS 89.9 YouTube channel and subscribe there, because anytime we add new content, you'll get a notification and you can listen to it just like tonight when I upload this show right here with Coach. Again, thank you all for joining us for Viking Coaches Show. We'll see you in Rocky Mount for the Down East Viking Football Classic this weekend, and we'll catch you next week for Viking Coaches Show exclusively on WRVS 89.9.
Elizabeth City State University promises to be the most affordable choice for a high-quality university education. The North Carolina Promise tuition plan will reduce the tuition cost of attending ECSU to only $500 per semester for in-state students. Learn more online at ecsu.edu/NCPromise. Elizabeth City State University. Come to discover, leave to conquer.